My dudes, my guys, my freaking boys. Sorry for the slow posts. Trying to get back on it. There's so much stuff going on right now. Work's been absolutely insane. Of course, work comes first. So if you guys hadn't followed me on Instagram or anything like that, I think the hood, you may have seen, we pulled the motor out of the wagon. Now, why did we do this? It was single cam turbo, if you're new to the channel. It was good. Everything was fine with it, perfectly fine. I just wanted a more modern motor, easier to get parts for, because I have some plans in the future, like traveling and stuff like that. So I wanted to be able to get parts on the road easily. So what's the best option for that? K-series. So we are going to be taking our all-wheel drive Civic Wagon and doing our all-wheel drive K24 swap. Now, why are there two motors here? This is a K24A2. This is a K20 some or another, one of the junk ones. And then buried under there, I have a full element swap. So I'm trying to do this on kind of a budget. I'm going to do a series on this whole thing. What we're going to do is we're going to put it together, get it in the car running, and then I'll break down prices of everything. So far, the most expensive thing is this header and the Hasport mounts that I've been waiting 6 or 7 weeks for already. That's why I haven't posted any of this. I've just been waiting. But today I have a little bit of time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this engine and transmission here, and it's a full element swap, manual trans, all that. I'm going to steal everything off of that motor, or, well, off the trans. So clutch, flywheel, trans, all that stuff, and put on our A2. And then if we get enough time, I have a full RSX Type S harness. So I would like to swap this intake manifold over onto here, put the harness on, and then see what sensors I need off this K20, and then I can get all this stuff out of the middle of the garage because it's stressing me out. Some of y'all might be wondering why don't I just use this element motor, the K24A4? So you can't head swap these ones, and I'm not trying to go turbo. So for them to make horsepower, it's just not realistic. Not that I'm trying to make a race car, but kind of figuring, you know, if the single cam turbo was like around 250 horsepower or something like that, I would also like this to be somewhere around there at some point, and this is just not the platform to do that. So that's why I opted for the K24A2. So we're gonna go ahead, work on tearing this engine down a little bit so we can get everything off of it that we need, so we can pull the trans off and all that jazz. I think I have all the bolts off. About to find that. I hope the motor doesn't fall over. There we go. I think we're all disconnected. If I could have a little bit of room to work. Ugh, heavy. All right, there's our transmission. I know this is good because I drove it before I took it apart. So I know this clutch is not going to be great, but it'll get us running and driving for now, and that's what we're looking for. All that clutch debris falling out of there. You'll love to see that. Oh, they're stuck on a dowel pin over there. This clutch disc has about seen it. All right, we may be putting a different clutch in it than this. I don't think that one's worth the time. It was grabbing fine, but probably when it sees 220 horsepower, probably not going to grab fine anymore. I do have another clutch. I was just trying to not use it. Yeah. Look at all the clutch debris. It's probably the factory clutch. Pretty macked. Dang, I was really hoping to use that. I have another clutch in the back room that we can use though. I just didn't really want to use it because it's a beefier clutch. I wanted to use something stock. But we're trying to do it on a budget, so we're gonna use what I got. All right. Well, we have all of our bolts, so that's important. We need that. I guess let me go grab the other clutch, and we can throw it on there. That stinks. Let's go ahead and tear down the K24-A2. I'm gonna start off by pulling off this intake manifold because I'm not gonna use this one. I'm gonna use the K21 because it looks like it'll give me more hood clearance. This one was an automatic, so we gotta pull off the flex plate over here. And then that should give me a little bit more room to work. All the accessories are all like super loose, but I'll probably end up stealing all the whole accessory, everything off of that motor, because I know that everything on that one was fine. And I don't really know anything about this motor at all, and that motor has everything. But for now, I guess I'm gonna pull the intake manifold off, pull the flex plate off, and then we can go ahead and put my other clutch on here, and then worry about starting to move all that stuff over to here. So let's get to it. The inside of this thing actually looks pretty healthy. Not much buildup at all. Looks pretty clean. Let's pull the flywheel off of here. Be needing that where we're going. All right, after about an hour of calling around everywhere for this, the clutch pilot bushing, because I completely forgot I didn't have one. I called Honda, Advance, AutoZone, O'Reilly's. I think that's it, but even Honda didn't have it. Crazy. I called a performance shop that's local. They didn't have it. So, old bread trick. I did say this was a budget build, right? So we're gonna go ahead and use this used clutch pilot bearing or bushing, and then this is the clutch I have. It's like a stage 4. It is way too big, but whenever I get some more money, I will order like a stock replacement clutch or something like that and put it in here. But for now, it'll work. Like I said, the main goal: cheap running driving. Cheap running driving. That's the 3 main things we're looking for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and slap this guy in. So the automatics don't have this because they don't have the same type of thing that goes up in here. That was way loose. There we go. Wonder if it's supposed to go like all the way back in there. I guess like that. Sick. We're in there. All right. Something else important to note is that the automatics right here, since they have a not flywheel, whatever you want to call it thing, flex plate, the bolts are shorter. So we're gonna have to use the bolts off of the manual motor for the flywheel. So go ahead and grab those, and I'll slap this flywheel on there and then torque it down and all that stuff, and then we'll get an update. All right, our flywheel's on. I do not have a clutch alignment tool for this. So that's not ideal, but I have done this before. I took a B series one and wrapped a bunch of tape around it until it fit in the pilot bushing good. So gonna go make one, BRB. It's actually fantastic. I still have it. You can see it's just a B series one. I put a bunch of tape around, and like a glove, like an actual glove. It's actually extremely tight. It might be a little bit too big, but we'll take that over too loose. All right, now let's put this pressure plate and clutch on. So you can see the B series one threads in perfect, and then go like this. Like I said, super tight. Kind of got to force the tool up on there, and that'll sit like that. Let me go grab, I guess I can do this first. Let's see, this is gonna go like this. Should be another pin somewhere. There's dowel pins that have to line up, and I guess they are a certain way. There it goes. And we'll go ahead and throw our bolts in. So a lot of people say to use Loctite on this stuff, and I get why people want to Loctite it, right? You definitely don't want this coming apart. But my theory is Honda never Loctite it, so why should I? Right? They're the ones that built it. They didn't Loctite it. I don't see why I should Loctite it. I know you're supposed to go crisscross, but I already tightened everything, so we're good. Cool. Clutch is on. Pull this out and hope all of our tape doesn't come out with it, or does come out with it. Good to go. Perfect. Something I was looking at before I go and install the trans over there is the trans has both dowel pins in it. This one has a dowel pin here. So always check your dowel pins. I'm going to pull this one out and just use the ones that are already stuck in the trans. If you try to put them in and they both have dowel pins in both sides, there should be one here too. If they're in both sides, it's going to probably most likely break the transmission. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to get this pulled out. All right, now that we have our clutch and flywheel on, I think what I want to do is take the water pump and everything off of this motor. I know it's a ton of work, but like I said, I know everything on this motor was working. I drove this before I pulled it. I don't know anything about this. So I'd rather take the stuff that I know for sure works and put on here than the other way around. But I also don't have a water pump gasket, I guess. Do we risk it? Do we risk it? Maybe we risk the water pump. We'll just put everything else on. So water pump's still in tight. I need the thermostat out of the other thing right there. You can tell I don't have the thermostat in here. I mean, it's moving, so it should be fine. I guess we'll take the tensioner and everything else off of there. And I think that this is a idler pulley off of an EP3, maybe? I think. I don't know exactly how it goes on there. Oh, I guess like that. I think that would be the idler pulley off of an EP3 that I had laying around. So, yeah, I guess we just steal the alternator and the tensioner off that motor, put on here. Let's do that. All right, so we have our this side on. We're not gonna run the AC. At some point I would like to add it, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. So we're good there. I need to take the thermostat housing so that way I can put all that on there. I'm pretty sure I need a gasket for that too. Looks like it might get Honda bonded. I have Honda bond. I'll worry about that here in a second because I can do that easily still with this one. So what I'm going to try to do now is pull the intake manifold off the K20, try to put it on the K24, see if all that stuff's going to fit. And then, yeah, we can figure that out. I know that the K24s have a flange that goes all the way over here. The K20s don't have it where it goes all the way over here. But I do know that there's another piece on the K20s that bolts there. So I'm wondering if I can just get away with doing that. But only one way to find out. Let's start tearing this apart. All right, so apparently you got to take off the water pump housing to take the intake manifold off. That's kind of crazy. All right, let me find tools and do that. Okay, so I'm learning things. This is the K24 little part right there. That's the K20 one right there. You can see they're completely different shapes. So that factory piece right here, I cannot use. So I guess I need to get like a block off. I know they make like block off plates things for that. So I'm gonna order one of those. So basically all we're gonna do today, I guess, the rest stuff we're gonna do is I'll put this back on. I'll steal the thermostat off of that motor, put onto here. And then I don't know if the K20 starters are the same. This one's super crusty. I don't even know if I want to use that one. But maybe we'll try to get that starter out there, see if they're the same. And then put the trans on and call it a day. So let me get working. It's getting hot. I'm sweating. All right, I think that's where we're gonna leave this thing at today. We got the clutch, flywheel, pilot bushing, alternator, EP3 tensioner. We got the CRV post mount. We got our fuel rail on. We have our, I threw in RDX injectors. We did our K20 intake manifold. I guess all I'm gonna do off camera is I'll just throw the half shaft in, wherever it's at, laying over here somewhere. I'll throw the half shaft in and we'll be done. So that is update 1 of the all-wheel drive K24 wagon. Hope you guys really like this. This is I got some sick plans. I know it looks crazy right now. We're just doing budget stuff, but I've got trust the process. I appreciate y'all for watching. See ya.